Afternoon. It is Thursday, March 19th. There's a big disagreement between Rashi and Ramban as to the order of the Torah. Rashi and various others believe that Ein Mukdam u'Me'uchar b'Torah. The Torah is not written in chronological order. There are sometimes other reasons why we may place certain stories in the Torah at certain places other than if they took place in that order. For that reason, Rashi says, for example, that various stories in Sefer Bereshis weren't actually placed in the places that they took place chronologically, but rather they were put there for another reason. We can learn lessons from why the Torah would organize in that fashion. On the other hand, Ramban disagrees strongly, and he writes that Yesh Mukdam u'Me'uchar b'Torah, there is a chronological order to everything written in the Torah, and when the Torah writes events, it is in the order in which they took place. One particularly interesting case study is the end of Sefer Shemos. We have had parshios of Truma, Tisa, Tisa, and now Vayakhel and Pekudei. In Teruma and Tetzaveh, we are told of Hashem's commandment to build the Mishkan. On the other hand, in Tisa we have the story of the Egel. Following that, we again resume to how the Bnei Israel built the Mishkan. According to Rashi, and the others that follow his view of Ein Mukdam u'Me'uchar b'Torah, that it's not necessarily in chronological order, one can argue that perhaps it was only after the Egel that in fact the Jewish people were actually commanded to build the Mishkan, and indeed many take this position within that camp. On the other hand, if you follow Ramban, we are forced to say that in the way the Torah recorded it is exactly the order in which it took place in real history. If that's the case, the commandment to build the Mishkan preceded the Egel, and following the Egel, following the aftermath of the Egel, the Bnei Israel finally built the Mishkan. I think reflecting on this Ramban can teach us two important lessons about the time that we are currently in. The first lesson is a lesson of optimism. The time of the Egel in last week's Parsha, Parshas Tisa, was a very dark time for the Jewish people. Not only were they in grave danger of being wiped out, as the Torah tells us, and only through Moshe's interceding was this avoided, but also in general, to have such a terrible sin so close a time to Matan Torah, and to be able to look back on that and say that really wasn't something great. Yet, after all that is done, according to the Ramban, it's before the Egel that we've been commanded to build the Mishkan, and after it's all over, we finally return back to where we were, to Vayakhel Pekudei, where there's no more mentions of the Egel. Everybody gets together and builds the Mishkan. Even after a dark, dark time in our history, there is always a time that we will be able to return, and we'll be able to say and look back on that and say that's in the past. Now we move on, now we resume our regular lives. And I think that under these circumstances, there are some times where it feels like it's very, very long and it may never end. But yes, Vayakhel Pekudei teaches us that there will be a time where we will return to our regular lives as we were doing before in our Truma and Tetzaveh when we get to our Vayakhel Pekudei.